I also wish to take this opportunity in introducing another speaker, Dr. Gururaj Kidiyur, who will speak against the topic. Professor Gururaj H. Kidiyur currently is working as an associate professor at TAPI Management Institute, Manipal. He is working as a director. Sorry, sir. He is working as a director at TAPI Management Institute, Manipal. Prior to joining TAPME, he worked in TVS Electronics, Wipro and digital equipment in the areas of marketing, sales and distribution. His academic interests include business-to-business marketing, personal selling, sales negotiations and marketing of high-tech products. Professor Gururaj H. Kidiyur has been awarded a Doctor of Philosophy degree by the Manipal University for an in-depth research study in perceived risk in the adoption of high-technology product innovations in business buying. I request Ms. Aishwarya Shetty to florally welcome him.
Third debate that we have, that is the last debate, and one can say it's the concluding debate, because if you look at the title, that the MBA students are ideal for starting and managing the social enterprise. Now yesterday we had a very comprehensive discussion on the multidimensional aspects of the social enterprises and social engineering and social entrepreneurship and all. And both the keynote address and as well as two debate, we had a very detailed discussion on the subject and all this. Now the question comes here that how we can prepare the students. Whoever, if you look at all developed countries and others, nearly majority, they say nearly more than 80% of the entry to the social enterprises or social capital or even IT revolution and others are by the younger generation who are driven by the social concerns and others. So automatically, if you look at the India today, you can say Indian coming decade is a defining decade for India, both social and economic development. Automatically, there is a wide space, growing space, we can say that, for a social entrepreneurship and social capital because of due to the failure of the market, or it may be failure of the government and others and all this. So to fill this gap, widening gap and others and all this, we require very expertized social entrepreneurs and who are innovative, who are committed and who have passion and everything and all this. Now how we can motivate the students to go for this? This is the issue, fundamental issue. Now the question comes that actually we have got international experience. There is a professor here there who has got international experience, as well as we have got a country experience here. And there are some of the institutions already started the social course and others and all this, that on the specialized course. The question also comes here whether we require have a specialized course, or whether we require the part-time course, or whether we require ad hoc course, or whether we require some EDP and others on social enterprises, because whether the social entrepreneurship is completely different from the other entrepreneurship and others. These are some of the issues. At the same time, there is also another argument and all this for against and others. Since the social entrepreneurship is more individualistic, it requires more a social concern side and others. It requires a passion. It requires ignited mind and others and all. It requires a commitment, devotion and others. So do we require some specialized course for that? So, which is not merely a supply-led approach, it should be demand approach. Demand-driven approach should be also there. Whether the students are ready to come forward to enter into this course and all. So both demand side and supply side, we have to look into that. And I don't want to come in the way of the discussion. We have nearly one hour, nearly about 20 minutes are there. And let us have 30 minutes for both speakers. And with that time, then we'll have some discussion on that. First of all, I will request our international expert and others, Professor Satyendra Dhima, on God. The students who enter in this specialized course and others, then we can have against
Good morning. Good morning. It is always easy to take the for stand. So when Dr. Sankaran asked me, I said I will go for the for, because I believe that social enterprise is important. Now, before I start, as I said yesterday, my teachers, at the feet of whose I learned the art of teaching, taught me that you should start with a story. So here's the story for the morning. You must be waiting, some of you. This story is about a very classical, legendary, historic debate between Adi Shankaracharya and Surveshwaracharya, who was Mandana Mishra. And some people think that his name was Mandana Mishra. Now, forget about the personalities, but the theme that is needed to be understood. And it is very important for students, to have this frame of mind when you debate. Dr. Sankar was mentioning about, how sometimes people get agitated when they are debating about their particular stance. So this story, very unique story. So the story is, Shankaracharya was a Advaitin. He was a kind of scholar, as we all know. He died at the age of 32. And he did bhashyas, commentaries on Prasthanatraya, which is Brahma Sutras and Upanishads and Gita Bhashya. So he did those three. And his works are considered to be definitive. In case you are wondering why I am quoting Shankaracharya and not a Western scholar, many Western scholars, including Karl Porter, once said that Shankaracharya's mysticism, his mystic philosophy, is the highest. He said that Brahm Atma Ekya. Brahm Atma Ekya, he established the Jagat Satya, Brahm Satya Jagat Mithya. So his philosophy is the highest that can be thought about, even higher than the Western Immanuel Kant. So you are looking at some very fine minds. And Mandana Mishra he's debating the stance of Advaita. So the discussion takes place and the stakes are very high. If Shankaracharya loses the debate, he will become a gristha, he will become a householder, he will renounce being a sannyasin and become a householder. But if Mandana Mishra loses it, he was already a married man. He has to relinquish married life and go in the forest and become a sannyasi. And to kind of make the things interesting, the referee for the debate was Mandana Mishra's wife. Now you can understand a very unique set of circumstances. You can also wonder that, because she is the wife of Mandana Mishra, she will be very biased. But we will see how the story proceeds. Now, Mandana Mishra's wife was very deeply scholarly, profoundly scholarly person. And she tried to Advaita Vedanta in perspective of Adi Shankaracharya, although they were husband and wife, they had different opinions back then. So the condition that this lady put on both the debaters was that a fresh garland of flowers will be put around their necks. Both the debaters will have a fresh garland of flowers, and whose flowers start drying up earlier will lose the debate. Now you will wonder that what kind of tarka, what kind of logic is this? We are talking about some very high level rational discussion. It is called Shastrarth. In our country, people used to go around the country to do Shastrarth and do Digvijaya. They used to achieve victory, and Shankaracharya is known to have gone all four corners of the world and our country and has won debates. So this was almost a conclusive debate between Shankaracharya and Mandana Mishra. Now the argument, the interesting thing was that when you are debating, if you become agitated, if you become tense, your body generates heat. And due to that heat, the flowers start drying up quickly. So, to cut the long story short, of course, Adi Shankaracharya won the discussion and Mandana Mishra lost it. But this is the beauty of sages. He said that, I understand. And during the debate, Mandana Mishra got converted into the Advaitin stance. So Adi Shankaracharya said, even if I won, you do not have to go to the forest. You can still continue to live it. Then Surveshwaracharya, now Mandana Mishra became Surveshwaracharya and became Adi Shankaracharya's disciple. And he wrote he wrote Naishkarma Siddhi, and he wrote also Vartikas on Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad's commentaries of Shankaracharya. And he is considered to be a rate as Guru, so Shishya, very able Shishya. So I wanted to share that story before we start so that we understand that it's not a question of being heated. Sometimes in debates, Dr. Shankar, there is more heat than light. I would like to generate more light than heat in this discussion. MBA program, MBA students. I chair the MBA program for last 20 years at my school, and I feel very passionately about it. In our school, we have a joke that when you join our MBA program, you get 2 degrees. One free, one for what you pay for. One is called MBA, the other one is called MLA. You will wonder what is MLA. MLA is Master of Life Administration. Because if you are not a Master of Life Administration, Master of Business Administration is not going to help you. So we lay a lot of importance on ethics and social responsibility. I strongly feel, some of you remember Milton Friedman who got Nobel Prize in Economics. In 1975, he made a very disturbing statement in New Yorker. He said that the business of business is business. He says social responsibility is not business. Its business is only to do business. And that particular statement coming from a Nobel laureate has played havoc in the world, because people start looking at, this person is Nobel laureate, he's saying the business of business is just taking care of business. Now, question arises, why should business bother about social responsibility? And then we can come to the social entrepreneurship part. I was wondering, why do we need to say social entrepreneurship? Shouldn't all entrepreneurship be social? It's a question to be asked. Sometimes we get into the hype. Because everybody's talking about social enterprise, we start talking about social enterprise. Let's retreat a little bit and ask this fundamental question. Shouldn't all business be socially responsible? And thereby, shouldn't all entrepreneurs be socially responsible? We heard yesterday about Bill Gates, we heard about Musk, and we also hear about many other, Ray Anderson. Some of you might have heard about Ray Anderson. If you have not, please check him out on the internet. He was a businessman, very successful, but then he realized that he was shortchanging the customers, and he had an epiphany. He had an epiphany, change of heart, personality ka rupantran ho gaya, transformation. But it only happens if you are ready. It's very important. You can have Brahma as your teacher, and still you may not learn anything if you are not ready. When the student is ready, then nature makes sure that a good teacher will cross path with you. So the point I'm trying to make is, all business needs to be socially responsible. Why? Simple. A business exists in the society and takes so many things from the society. Resources, human resources, physical resources, natural resources, and everything. Not only that, it also pollutes the environment. Thanks to all the industrial revolution which started in 1760 in England, we have not recovered from that thing. So there is a cost to running a business within a society. It makes sense that the business should also contribute back, give back to the society. So from my point of view, I don't see it even a question to debate that a business should be socially responsible, and hence, by extension, entrepreneurs should be socially responsible. And now, our MBA degree is very appropriate in producing good managers, good leaders, hopefully good leaders also. And if we do not change their mindset, if they go into business thinking that they have to draw 6-figure salary, a good package, if that's all they are working for, then the society will be shortchanged. We need to nurture the roots of our MBA students so that they can understand the values, they can understand what is what. Hence, my stance is that MBA students are ideal, fertile ground to sow the seeds of social entrepreneurship. I will rest my initial argument with that and let my learned debater contribute his thoughts on this topic.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satinder. It was really wonderful. First of all, a couple of things. I really felt good when she addressed me associate professor. After becoming the director, I felt associate professorship was much better. Second thing, There are two aspects to an individual. One is what an individual believes and what an individual sees. It's like, truth and beauty. What ought to be and what it is. So, my approach here is basically on what it is. And I was very clearly told by Dr. Shankaran when he called up saying that I have to speak against a topic. It is a difficult job because speaking against this topic is socially, politically incorrect. Right? The third thing is that I take a perspective here which is a little more pragmatic based on what I see. I will also start my argument or my point with a story, and it is the same story, Mundra Mishra and Shankaracharya. I had heard this story, a wonderful story, and I remember during the course of this debate, Shankaracharya spoke about something about married life, and he was cut down by saying that how can you speak on married life when you do not have any experience of what it feels to be married. Especially with regard to one very important component of married life. To the best of my memory, he took a break and then he did some parakaya pravesha. He entered into the body of a king who was dead. Right, sir? I think I see somebody nodding. Am I right? Yeah, right. Then he went and experienced for a while what it is to be married. Then he came back, rich with experience, and then started his argument, and finally he ended up winning the argument. The point here is that it is extremely important to have experience of something before you actually start doing something, before you start actually arguing for it or so forth. Today there is a very strong case being proposed for business schools to focus more on the social side, especially the social entrepreneurship side, and this topic is also whether MBAs are ideal to start and manage social enterprises. My argument is in a context, and the context is management education in India. Because all my years I've been an educator in this context. I would like to look at this from the perspective of different stakeholders. So the first stakeholder for me is the institute, the B schools, which include the promoters of B schools. The second stakeholder is the students. The third stakeholder is faculty. The fourth stakeholder, the recruiter. The fifth stakeholder is the regulator. And the last one is society. I'm not going to draw any conclusion from this, but I leave it to the audience. I will only speak about these dimensions along which the MBA education has to be seen in India. Take for example the institutions. How many B schools are there in India? 4,000, 3,500. Amongst these institutions, how many have any clarity on why they are in this business? Many of them call their own institutions as MBA colleges. We have an MBA college. Other than the top 100, I believe the remaining ones are struggling for existence. And many of them, within that, were started when there was a boom in management education. And they saw that, hey, there is an opportunity to make a fast buck here. Let me join this bandwagon. Many of these institutions have faculty members who have just graduated from the same B school. And they are the ones who are training future managers. Look at the curriculum. Including IIMs, I don't think in the last 30 years there has been any major change in the curriculum. We still have 4 accounting courses. We still have 3 HR courses, 2 marketing courses. Of course, there is a reason. There are people wanting to do it, but they are not doing it. There are people who don't do it because they don't know. This is the state of affairs. They have no clarity on their mission. They do not have any objectives. They are just going along the tide. So I don't think if you look at the institutions, the structures and the governance within that, they are not conducive to something which we are talking about is social entrepreneurship. Second thing is students. Look at the students. What type of students do we get? We have students who come from the industries, people who quit their jobs and then take up management education with an experience of 3 years or 4 years. Typically for these students, doing an MBA is a highly involved process. And today, the cost of management education is very high. I have done some study and it shows that from the top B schools, about 70-75%, 80% of the students are on education loan. And in India, which is my context, the interest rates on